You know, I was talking to John Carlin, and the idea of Kronos coming to the Edison studio, yeah,
Right.
and recording the way music was recorded more than 100 years ago. Essentially, what I was thinking of was almost like an archaeological dig, and that we discover how we would have sounded if we would have been alive and recording in the late 19th century, early part of the 20th century. To me, it's like a musical discovery, and it
Like an audio time machine.
it's an audio time machine. It's something that I've wanted to do for as long as I can remember. When I first knew that this studio existed, I thought, one day I want Kronos to be here. And so for me, this is 30 years now or something. This is an old dream, and now it feels like it's happening, and it has happened, and it's fabulous. And just a minute ago, to hear the way we sounded, and to have the playback so immediate. I mean, it's something we're kind of used to that in modern studios, but you feel the inner workings of things. You can see them with the wax cylinder. It's fascinating, and it's just an amazing technology. And there's something about the resonance here in this room. It's hard to describe it, but you do feel history here. Recently, I was at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. I got the same feeling there. I mean, I'm aware of some of the events that have happened at the Lincoln Memorial, some of the really important moments in American history.
Yes.
Well, I have the same feeling here. And it's almost like this studio, in a way, is like the epicenter of recording history. And it's like where it started. And it's an incredible place to be. I mean, I'd hoped we could do it, but I never really counted on it. And so it's a bonus.
Is there something more tactile, more visceral about recording this way, where you have to physically balance and there are no electronics in the chain?
Yes, I mean, you do think about kind of moving in when in the contrapuntus number 2, and you have a certain line, you lean into the horn just a little bit, and in that way it feels very acoustic and very alive. It's not like this kind of abstract microphone that's just kind of up there. You're working with it as an instrument.
And you're working the space. It's almost pre-Bach, like antiphonal choir music.
Exactly. It takes us to a truly acoustic time.
Talk to me about the charity aspect of this, because you guys aren't getting paid for this, and you're not expecting to make money off the recording. Why was this a good thing to do?
Well, I mentioned that I heard about this from John Carlin, and he was talking to me about the idea of kind of painting, finger painting, and that's when I just proposed the idea. Okay, well, if we could come to the Edison studio, could we also record in various other technologies and have them all going on at the same time? So literally, kids of all ages, I'm going to do it, believe me, but could move from one kind of sound to another and actually hear the difference in the technologies. And he said, sure, why not? He's one of those kind of guys, things are easy, and he makes them happen. I like guys like that. And in terms of Red Hot, this is our third performance on Red Hot, and I just think it's one of the most important organizations that I know of. And we'd do this every day if we could. And plus, we've never recorded Bach before.
Right. The Kronos is known for doing 20th century music and very modern stuff. What's it like to
century music?
and then some?
Yeah.
What's it like to record old music with old technology?
It's kind of refreshing, It's kind of refreshing, and it felt new in that way. It did feel like we were playing something old and dusty at all. It felt like it was fresh and new and alive, and we got to hear it right away, and got to see the little scraps of this kind of sawdust from the cylinders, and there's lots of stuff here that you don't normally get to see.
Yeah, you're really making music.
Yeah.
It's a physical thing.
Yeah.
You had a chance to hear a playback of various recording technologies, basically the 125, 130-year history of audio recording tonight. What was it like hearing the direct-to-disc 78, hearing a little bit of the analog tape, hearing the wax cylinder in comparison to one another?
Well, I recognized all of these sounds, but I'd never heard Kronos in those sounds. And so to hear, when we started recording, it was not in mono. Not in mono. So even the mono recording sounded much different to me. It was kind of a flatter image, let's say. And the 78 was, I love 78s.
Yeah.
The first recordings I ever heard were 78 recordings of Fritz Kreisler, and to hear our instruments coming out of that was a thrill. And of course, cylinder, I've heard recordings, CD recordings of Edison cylinders, but I've never actually heard a real cylinder through the kind of system that people listen to it that we made. Never heard that before. And so it really is like hearing us in a new way. And that's what Kronos is all about. So we enlarged our palette today.
You did indeed. Well, congratulations and thank you so much.
My pleasure.